everybody, welcome back to the video where today we are going to be doing part 2 of seeing how many times each Eddsworld main character has died in the series. Today we will be finishing up the classic era. I just want to apologize for my bad microphone quality. I am making my videos off of my laptop now instead of my phone. Big improvement. And I left my microphone at my dad's house, so I haven't been able to record any videos with that yet. So, sorry for the bad mic quality, but let's move on. This first video is about Ed just sneaking into Tom's room trying to play his guitar until he smashes it trying to get a spider. So when he tries to bury it, he finds this like ancient door or whatever. So then tells his friends, hey guys, I found this door. And they don't want to go at first, but then he's like, there might be treasure, so then they do go. Then they have to fight their way through the temple. Ed, Tom, Matt, and Tord split up, with Ed and Tom going together, and Tord and Matt going together. Eventually, they make it to the treasure room and have to fight a bunch of mummies. And right when they're going to unlock the treasure, they fall into a hole. No one dies, no one gets the treasure. So let's just move on to the next video. Ed comes home to see Tom on the roof with a bazooka trying to kill Santa Claus. And he gets absolutely beat up by Santa Claus, who is an evil Santa Claus who basically kills naughty children. And apparently they did some bad stuff, so they also have to die. So they get on a cola truck, but before he can get them, Santa shows up and kills him. It doesn't kill him, but he knocks him off. So none of the main boys die again. So in this one, Ed, Tom, Matt, and Tord watched this guy's movie, and they were the only people who watched it, so he decides to clone them. And so it's 4 times 4 million. I'm gonna tell you the math at the end. I'm gonna get through the story first. So he makes all the clones. They go out and do stuff until they go back to their house. And then the Eddsworld gang is there. So then they kill all the clones minus one Matt clone. Because one Matt clone survives. Which would mean if there were 4 of them, times 4 million, they each have 1 million. They killed 1 million Ed clones, 1 million Tom clones, and 1 million Tord clones. But since one Matt clone survived, Matt has 99,999 deaths. The other 3 have plus 1 million. So we're gonna add that to the count and move on to our next video. I'm just glad they actually finally died for once. Follows Ed, Matt, Tom, and Tord as they have no money to go on a vacation this year, so they decide to join the army. After they get there, Tom has to shave his head and whatever, and they do some activities for like 5 minutes, and they're immediately sent into war, where they hop into a tank on the enemy base after falling from a helicopter on accident, and get in a tank, and then they basically destroy the whole enemy base, and it is quite a strong contrast from the last one where 1 million of them died, but And guys, let's say goodbye to Tord until episode 3, because this is Tord's last appearance until the end of the legacy. So next time we'll be seeing Tord is at the end of next video. So this one opens with Tord leaving, like I said earlier that he would. And they all have to go to flush themselves into the toilet because Matt accidentally flushed the keys. So they go down there and they find out Atlantis is there. So they steal their keys, but now they're being hunted because the fish people there had it as their new exhibit. So then once they got caught, they had to get death by oxygen, which is basically them floating up into the air. And, but none of them die, so we're just gonna move on to the next one. This one is about Matt going trick-or-treating and then getting bit by a vampire. Hold on. Huh. So I guess not. So I guess getting bit by a vampire does not count as dying. So, doing the actual story of the video. After Matt gets bit, he immediately goes back to the house to try to kill Ed. And every time he tries to kill Ed, he ends up messing up in some way until Tom accidentally kills Ed with his stake gun and then kills himself with the stake gun. And then Matt goes outside and gets burnt by the sunlight, killing him. Which means in this episode, Matt, Tom, and Ed, all three die in this one. So I guess now we can move on to the next one. So this one follows Ed, Matt, and Tom opening the door to find some evil Christmas carolers sent by Zanta to try to explode them. So then they have to go find Zanta. They fly the car, a bunch of planes. Watch the video if you want to get the joke. I'm not going to explain everything here. They find Zanta's secret lair, but first they find presents. Tom gets a pair of eyes, Matt gets money, Ed gets a cola river, but then the sun catches the river on fire, I think it's the sun, I don't know. Tom's eyes burn and Matt's money burns. So then when they come to fight him, they switch paths. Tom shoots the real Santa, and then he tries to save Santa, but his eyes get shot, so he hates Christmas again. None of them die in this episode, however, so we're just gonna move on to the next one. This episode starts off with Tom finding a camera, spending all their life savings on it, and they have to make a movie to go viral. And they make it about space cats. The director's a shoe or whatever. I think there's an Ed death because he uses a magnet to pull in this plane and it crushes him and the whole house, so I'm pretty sure he's dead for that part and then he just comes back for the latter. So I'm going to add a death for Ed because there's no way he survived that. He was crushed. And then the girl they hired for the movie dies and the world ends. But they're not shown dying, so I don't think we're going to count a death for them. So let's move on to the next one. So, What the Future follows Ed, Tom, and Matt as they find future Ed and basically get hunted down by him because in the future, the Red Leader, aka Tord, outlaws Cola, so they go back in time to kill him, and then future Matt and Tom come back to stop Ed, and in the end, Matt screws everything up and basically makes him the best person of all time. And I don't think any of them die in this episode, so we're just going to move on to the next one. I'm sure no one dies. And I'm here with a quick little intermission to say that I actually was able to get my cousin Raspberry to voice over my Hammer and Fail Part 1 and Part 2. And he might even return for the next two videos, but you'll just have to wait and see. So I'm just going to hand it over to Raspberry to voice his part.
Hello guys, it is me, Raspberry. Lock and Key has invited me onto the channel. I'm going to be talking about Hammer and Fail Part 1 and 2. So this starts off with Ed and Tom sitting at the table when Matt walks in with some weird object. When they tell him to put it away, he so graciously decides to release the depths of hell by opening it. This causes a spill in his room, and because of this, they decide they need an extra room on the house. But instead of getting builders to do it, they decide to be special because they wanted to, and they do it themselves. And by do it themselves, I mean they decided to call somebody and drop it onto their house in like 2 seconds. Like the entire sequence just happened so quickly at the very end of the episode. A crane comes in and just plops it down, and they're like, "That's okay. That's what we need." And the video ends with Matt screaming, probably because Big Dick Randy got him. But sadly, though, there was no deaths. Hammer and Fail Part 2 opens up the next day when Ed is concerned that Matt isn't coming down for breakfast. So he and Tom goes to check on him. When they go upstairs, they find that Matt's room is completely clean, which is really weird, seeing as Matt is a very not clean person, I should say. Like, I don't know how to explain it. He's just not clean. If you've seen previous episodes or edisodes, and they've showed Matt's room, or maybe even future ones for that matter, it's not clean. That's all I can say about that. And he's talking all professionally. Then they find out it's because of a demon. And Matt says something about the demon being spoiled or something like that, and the demon kicks everyone out of the house. And Tom tries to go enter, but he gets flung back. So, even though they don't really want to do this, they have to ask Eduardo for help. When the main boys go to the company for help, they can't do anything because they don't have a roof insurance. And when they met up with Eduardo, he said they didn't have any luck with the psychiatrist. So the boys decide to change the house, and right when they're about to lose, the demon realizes he's supposed to be attacking Eduardo. So in the end, they get their house back, but there's still no death. A pattern we've been seeing is that most episodes make it look like they might die, but they are fine in the end.
Is pretty much the same as almost other Zanta ones. Tom's drunk, tries to steal Christmas. He gets really close to doing it this time, but they team up with Zanta, but then Zanta betrays him. Then they get basically blown up, but Tom doesn't die, he just gets severely injured. So, we're just gonna skim through this one and move on to the outro. Thank you so much for watching this. I spent like 2 days fully editing this and getting my cousin Raspberry to voice over the Hammer and Fail Part 1 and 2. Huge thanks to him. His channel will be linked in the description, the title, and at the very end of this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. So I'll see you guys in Part 3, which Raspberry might return in. Also, look what I got Raspberry to say.
Swastika.